Hey, let's be real for a second. Have you ever had one of those days where your alarm goes off, you look at your ceiling, and you just think, no, today is canceled. You're not necessarily crying, you're not angry. You just feel completely blank. Like a laptop with 40 tabs open, but the screen is totally frozen. You want to get up. You know you should get up. But there is this invisible 500-pound blanket pinning you to the mattress, and your brain is just whispering, what's the point? Lately, a massive conversation has been trending all over social media about a very specific kind of feeling. It's that heavy, muted, everything is gray funk. A lot of us call it burnout, some call it a slump, some call it languishing. But for millions of us, let's call it what it really is. It's the quiet, exhausting reality of depression. And if you're trapped in it right now, I want to tell you two things before we even get into the heart of this. First, you are not lazy. Your brain is just overwhelmed. Second, you didn't break your life, and you can feel like yourself again. Today, we're going to look at why our modern lives are practically designed to trick our brains into a depressive state. We're going to look at the biology of why you feel so stuck, and then we're going to walk through some incredibly simple, almost ridiculous micro steps to start pulling yourself out of it. No toxic positivity, no just think happy thoughts lectures. Just real, practical talk. Stick around, take a deep breath, and let's unpack this together. To understand how to get out of this funk, we first have to talk about why so many of us are falling into it in the first place. There's a fascinating concept trending right now that psychologists are talking about, and it's called accidental lifestyle depression. Think about how a normal human day looks when we start feeling a little stressed, lonely, or tired. What do? We close our blinds to block out the harsh light because our eyes hurt. We stay in bed or on the couch because moving takes too much energy. We order fast food on an app because the idea of standing a stove and cooking feels like climbing Mount Everest. And to distract ourselves from our heavy thoughts, we pick up our phones and scroll through TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube Shorts for 6 hours straight. Now, on the surface, it feels like we are just comforting ourselves. We think we're resting. But here's the plot twist. Your brain is a literal translation machine. It doesn't actually know why you are doing these things. It just looks at your physical actions and draws a conclusion. When you sit in a pitch-black room, completely isolate yourself from other human beings, eat highly processed food that crashes your blood sugar, and stare at a glowing, fast-paced box of doom all day, your brain's survival instinct kicks in. It goes, oh wow, look at our environment. We are in the dark, we are isolated, and we are stagnant. We must be hiding from a predator in a cave. Understood. Lowering all energy, motivation, and happiness chemicals immediately to save fuel until the danger passes. By trying to comfort ourselves during a stressful time, we accidentally build a perfect physical replica of depression. We trap ourselves in a loop. The sadder we feel, the more we isolate and scroll, and the more we isolate and scroll, the sadder and more drained we feel. If you're caught in this loop right now, please give yourself some grace. You didn't do this on purpose. You were just trying to survive a bad day, and your brain got stuck in caveman survival mode. This brings us to a major problem, the modern dopamine trap. Right now, there's a lot of talk online about dopamine detoxes and how our attention spans are ruined. But when you're depressed, dopamine works a little differently. Dopamine isn't actually the chemical of pleasure. It's the chemical of anticipation. It's the molecule that makes you want to go get something. When you are scrolling on your phone in a dark room, your brain is getting bombarded with tiny, cheap spikes of dopamine every time you swipe to a new video. Swipe, spike. Swipe, spike. But because it's so easy and requires zero effort, your brain's baseline for dopamine gets completely thrown off. Suddenly, real-world activities like folding your laundry, walking around a block, or calling a friend don't offer enough dopamine to compete with the phone. Your brain looks at the laundry basket and says, that requires way too much effort for almost no reward. Pass. This is why depression makes you feel totally paralyzed. It's not that you physically can't move. It's that your brain's internal reward system has been temporarily hijacked by cheap digital comfort. So, how do we break this loop when absolutely everything feels completely massive? When you are in that heavy space, standard self-care advice feels like a cruel joke. You open an article, and it says, just deep clean your entire house, meal prep for the week, and go hit a new personal record at the gym. and you're just sitting there staring at the screen thinking, I haven't even brushed my teeth yet today, Susan. How am I supposed to go to the gym? When depression hits, the front part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, essentially goes on strike. This is the area responsible for making decisions and prioritizing tasks. Without it working at 100%, every single task looks exactly the same size. Replying to a text message from your mom looks just as monumental as doing your taxes. Washing a single dish feels just as overwhelming as moving to a new city. It all looks terrifyingly huge. To fight this, we have to use a tool called the rule of halves, or what I like to call lowering the bar to the floor. If you look at your messy room and the chaos makes you want to cry, do not try to clean the room. Can you just pick up 2 socks? Just 2. Put them in the hamper, and then you are allowed to lie right back down. If you can't take a full hot shower because standing there and washing your hair feels like an absolute marathon, can you just wash your face with a damp cloth? Or just sit on the floor of the shower and let the water run over you? If you can't reply to all the unread messages piling up on your phone, can you just type a one-word text or send a silly emoji to one person just to let them know you're alive? We have this deeply toxic perfectionist idea ingrained in our culture that if we can't do something perfectly, it's not even worth doing. But when it comes to mental health and surviving a depressive episode, the exact opposite is true. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. Half cleaning your kitchen counter is infinitely better than leaving it completely covered in trash. Brushing your teeth for a sloppy 30 seconds is infinitely better than not brushing them at all. Standing outside on your porch in your pajamas for 2 minutes is infinitely better than staying locked in a dark room all day. You have to give yourself radical permission to do a terrible, lazy job, because doing a terrible job is the literal bridge that carries you back to doing a good job later. Action precedes motivation. You don't wait until you feel like doing it. You do a tiny, awful version of it, and the motivation slowly follows. Alright, let's get highly tactical. If you want to signal to your brain that the imaginary predator has left the cave and that it is safe to start producing those good, energizing chemicals again, here are 3 tiny, non-negotiable resets you could try tomorrow. The first one is the 2-minute natural light trick. When you wake up, your absolute highest temptation is going to be grabbing your phone and checking your notifications while lying down. Try to fight that urge for just 2 minutes. Instead of opening your apps, roll out of bed, open your blinds, or step outside onto a balcony or porch. Let real, natural sunlight hit your eyes. Biologically, this is huge. Natural morning light hitting your retina signals your brain to stop producing melatonin, the sleep hormone, and start producing cortisol and dopamine. It resets your internal circadian rhythm. It tells your body, hey, the day has officially begun, it's safe to wake up. It costs $0, it takes almost no energy, and it physically alters your brain chemistry. The second reset is changing your physics. Depression absolutely loves a static, unmoving body. It thrives when you stay in the exact same physical shape, usually curled up like a shrimp on the couch or buried under blankets, for hours at a time. Your thoughts match your posture. If your body is slumped and collapsed, your thoughts will usually be slumped and collapsed too. Just changing your physical shape can disrupt the negative thought loops looping in your mind. Stand up. Stretch your arms as high as they can go toward the ceiling. Take a massive, ridiculous deep breath, expand your chest, and walk to the kitchen. Even if you walk right back to the couch and sit back down afterward, you broke the physical pattern. You proved to your nervous system that you still have control over your limbs. You shifted the energy. The third reset is practicing what I call aggressive self-compassion. Most of us talk to ourselves in a way we would never, ever tolerate from another human being. When we are down, our inner voice starts yelling, "Why are you like this? Look at everyone else. They have their lives together. You're wasting your time. You're pathetic." Think about it this way. If your best friend came to your house completely broken, exhausted, and crying, you wouldn't stand over them and yell at them to hurry up, stop being lazy, and go clean their gutters. You wouldn't judge them. You would give them a warm blanket, get them a glass of water, and tell them to rest because they've been through a lot. So why do you play the role of the abusive boss to yourself? Start treating yourself like a sick friend. You're not broken. You haven't failed at life. You are just having a very heavy, very human reaction to an overwhelming world. Be kind to the version of you that is just trying to get through the day. Here is the honest truth that a lot of self-help gurus on the internet don't want to admit. You're going to wake up tomorrow perfectly cured just because you listened to this audio. Mental health doesn't have a magic on and off switch. You don't just watch a video, snap your fingers, and suddenly become a joyful morning person who loves green smoothies. It is a slow, gradual climb. Some days you're going to take 2 steps forward, you're going to clean your room and feel great. And then the very next day, you might lose your footing, feel that familiar heaviness return, and slide right back down to the couch with a bag of chips. And guess what? That is completely allowed. That is part of the process. Recovery isn't a straight, upward-pointing arrow. It's a messy zigzag line. A bad day does not erase your progress. If you made it to the very end of this 10-minute talk, I want you to take a second to realize something. I'm incredibly proud of you. Even if you listen to this while hiding under your blankets in the dark, even if your room is messy around you, you chose to spend 10 whole minutes focusing on your well-being and learning how your mind works. That is a massive win. Write that down in your mental scoreboard right now. You chose to try. Take a deep breath. Drink a glass of water. Be incredibly, radically kind to yourself today. If this talk felt like a warm hug or gave you a little bit of comfort, please hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below sharing one tiny thing you are going to do poorly today, whether it's washing one single coffee mug, stretching your arms for 10 seconds, or just opening a window. Let's look out for each other and support each other in the comments section. You are not alone in this, even when it feels like it. I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.